Hi everyone, I am going to discuss the video that Aviv posted in response to Professor Anton's video about Facebook, contact, and community. I think it's really important to address some of the issues she brought up with not only Facebook making progress, but it also, inhibiting some of the things that we've become accustomed to in years past, especially the contact issue. I think that's really important. And this is something Professor Anton addressed a lot, in that with the new technologies of Facebook and Skype and YouTube and all of the other media technologies, that we don't come in physical contact with other people to the degree that we used to. The technology has made it so easy to post a video on Facebook like this, easily comment on someone's wall, and just you don't have to pick up the phone or go see someone like you used to be able to do, or you used to have to do, in order to communicate. But while these things have made progress and are a convenience, like we talked about with Slack&Wise, it's a negative thing too. In our class, we've mostly talked about how these convenience factors are, meant to make our lives better and make things more easy, or easier for us to get along in the everyday world. But this shows that there are problems, that it does limit the availability of what we are able to do. One of the important things that they talked about was that a lot of times on Facebook, people will post a question or kind of, hey, this is what I'm doing today, and people don't respond directly like they would if you were in public. Like if I walked up to you after class and was like, hey, how are you? What are you doing this afternoon? You would most likely respond telling me how you are, and then talking about what you were going to do at the end of the day. Whereas this is not as common on Facebook, and these responses that we do receive are often more negative or unrelated at all, and they're called tangential responses. And these responses often have nothing to do with the subject matter. It's like if I were to ask you, hey, how are you? You might start talking about what you had for dinner last night, and having just nothing to do with the question asked. And these are the types of responses that both Professor Anton talked about and Aviv discussed as well. And this is one of the disadvantages of these kinds of technologies, is that you can ask something directly, and because you're not there to address the issue and make sure that you get the answer that you want, that people can avoid your question. A lot of times these things will be posted as statuses on Facebook, and people won't respond, or they'll just talk about their day, or whatever. This actually happened to me the other day. I posted something on Facebook to see what other students thought about the new mail system that we have on campus, the Hill Mail, and just to kind of see, hey, has anybody tried it? Is this good, bad, indifferent? And I either got one response or no responses. I can't remember, but I didn't really get any feedback. Actually, the girl that did respond said she wasn't able to because of some kind of glitch in the technology system, and so she wasn't actually able to even access this service. So the one response I did get, there was many that I didn't, so I didn't really get an opinion about this service, so I still haven't decided if I'm going to try it or not. But this can be an advantage and a disadvantage of technologies and advancing, is that you can ask these kind of questions, you have access to this wide amount of people, but at the same time they may provide these tangential responses and not actually address the question you're asking, or just kind of overlook it and kind of go on about their day for the reason that they may be on Facebook or YouTube. And these kind of responses are everywhere. People ask questions on YouTube. We ask them in our Facebook page. For the class, they're asked on blogs. People ask for responses, and a lot of times people are like, oh, somebody else will respond, I'll just kind of overlook it. And I mean, that's something important that they've been talking about. Going back to the point about touch, Professor Anton really stresses that this touch is crucial. It creates it's just important to people's well-being to come in contact with other people. It's not healthy for us to, be completely alone and only use these technological mediums for communication. But at the same time, they are convenient and do allow us to make contact with people, like Aviv mentioned, maybe on the other side of the world, people that you know that don't live here. Um, and it's really important to convenience, but it does have drawbacks. Um, One other thing I was going to mention was something we've discussed a lot recently, just talking about surveillance. This is another negative aspect to the technology and the increase that it's had. Um, a lot of times when you visit a site, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere you go on the internet, or even on your computer, it's tracked. There's a log created of everywhere you've been, everything you've clicked on, everything you've looked at. Nothing is really considered private anymore. So whereas physical contact with others, maybe you may be able to, meet at someone's apartment, nobody really see you. But whereas this communication online through these technology services, every little bit is seen by someone else. Or maybe not necessarily seen directly, but it can be indirectly as well. Everything you do leaves a trail. There's like a little footprint through the internet. I know Facebook's a big one. A lot of times, you can pull up your Facebook and on your news feed, it'll tell you who did what today, where they went, where they're going tonight. This is really seen like in event invitations. People talk about their day. They'll post pictures of where they've been and what they've been up to. So it's really interesting to see, some of the things that people will post and how much it can really tell you about their lives. It's good because it allows you to keep in contact with, especially friends from other colleges, maybe people you went to high school with that don't live right around here. But at the same time, it almost makes you lose contact with them because you're like, oh, I'll just post them a quick message, and you don't take the 5 minutes to pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, how's it going, Because if you post a message online, they may not get it for a day or two if they're really busy, whereas a phone call, most of the time, they're going to get it right away or quickly. And at the same time, there's no replacement for actually hearing someone's voice. It adds another personal dimension to be able to, talk to someone on the phone. And it shows a little more effort, I think. Even my best friend from high school, I don't talk to her very often on the phone, but, we get together and we see each other, and we think it's very important that, we stay connected like that. We do talk through Facebook and other mediums, but it's not, it doesn't provide the interaction that being in contact face-to-face with her does. So I think it's very important, no matter who the situation, if it's your friends, if it's your family, if it's a loved one overseas, it's important, to hear their voice and see their face and not just rely on these computer-mediated technologies. Let's see. I think it's very important just to reiterate what Aviv was saying, that these communities are created online, both through YouTube, Facebook, blogs. They bring together users that have a common identity. Especially Professor Anton's page was really neat because it brought together people that were interested in what he had to say, and it would post his top videos that were most popular. So it was really neat to see how that brought people with those interests together. Facebook's, there's every club has a page, every sorority has a group. It really helps to bring those people together while still allowing you to see outside resources as well. But while it does provide that community aspect and bringing people together that may not be able to be brought together otherwise, or who may not stay as close of contact if they didn't have those resources, it does lack the personal face-to-face communication that we've had for so long, and that is slowly going, or it's decreasing. And I think it's important that while we use these conveniences when necessary, it's also important that we, keep in touch with people outside of these resources, because that adds that true personal touch. And I think that's very important to all of our well-being and just our general health. Um, so that just, yeah, I think it just goes to show that while these technologies have become a convenience, they can also be a hindrance and, prevent us from um, being as close as we need to be. Feel free to comment. Let me know what you think. Thanks, guys.